The Riddles of Barabbas, Chapter 14, The Parable of the Riddle. Jesus continues to talk all night after the Last Supper at the Mount of Olives. With all that I'm doing now, I see that you're confused. Let not your heart be troubled, that your grasp I may elude. You trust in God, the great unknown, and know not where to follow. I'm just a simple question. Why not trust the riddle also? In my Father's house there's plenty room for lots of riddles. If there were just one, I would have given less mixed signals. If the Father has me make a mystery for you, I'll come back and take you, see what findings that you drew. You've already seen the things that go through my encryption, but can you guess what I convey from my obscure description? Thomas answered, No, I doubt. I think I have to say, we can't get to where you lead unless you show the way. But Jabar said this riddle is the way, the truth, the life. No one finds the riddler looking round at wildlife. If you knew the riddle, you would know the one who asks it. But now you've heard the riddle, and you know him, and you know it. Philip asked, Show us the Father, that will be enough for us. Jabar said, Don't you know me, after all we have discussed? The Father owns and makes or uses up whatever's done, and I call me myself whatever thing he owns his son. If you've seen me, then you have heard the gist of Father's riddle. So how can you say, Show the one who's asking it? That's trivial. A riddle doesn't write itself, it needs a clever author. The Father's put his work in me, and I am in the Father. Believe me that the Father of these riddles is in me, and I am in the Father of these riddles, don't you see? And if you think this riddle theory doesn't quite pan out, at least believe these things exist the riddles are about. Anyone who has the faith to do what I've been doing can make whatever riddle that he thinks is worth pursuing. You can ask for anything, the answer and the clues, any way you want. You make it just the way you choose. If you want a tool to do most anything you ask, put it in a riddle, then someone will do the task. If you love a riddle, you'll obey what it commands, but if the riddler dies, can you be sure you understand? The riddler only prays that when you finally find the answer, that you will judge the evidence as though you had a counselor, one who sees the evidence and makes hypotheses, who doesn't make prejudgments or conclude with fallacies. The homonyms, vague pronoun references, and appositions all need be acknowledged what they mean where they're positioned. Then with the list acknowledged of the possibilities, you match ideas expressed with facts and blunt realities. If for any rendering you cannot find disproof, you found one consistent with the spirit of the truth. I leave you not as orphans, but as those who have this spirit. The world can see what's real is real, but me you'll still come visit. This day my Father writes me with your questions all preserved. You're in the Father's riddle, and the riddle you observe. One who follows all my clues and figures who I am will know the riddler loves him for success at this exam. Now Judas, not Iscariot, thought this of more importance, and that he'd done the work and seen the whole of the performance. He asked, Why do you speak in secrecy, O Lord and Master? You should show the world if you are truly the whole answer. But Jabar said, Who loves me is one who obeys my teaching. No one needs to hear it to know what Japheth's been preaching. Japheth says, Love God with your strength, soul, heart, and even mind. Forgive and love your enemies, leave no one left behind. But in the book of John, you haven't heard me saying this. Instead, I've offered riddles and some signs that went amiss. If you love me anyway, you should do as I ask, and read my riddles carefully, not give up on the task. The riddles may not come from me direct, quotes from Jabar, but rather Father John the author making me a star. J. Beth he is the counselor, whose name also is Jesus. The Holy Spirit is his reason, teaching, and his thesis. I don't offer wisdom in the way the world gives. The world gives not a riddle without telling what it is. I leave you now in peace with thoughts you need no more reflection. You don't even know that I have left you with a question. But still I will come back to you. An itch can't find relief. You'll say it is your malady. You struggle with belief. But if you struggle making sense before you make your claim, you'll see the riddle goes back to the riddler, they're the same. I have told you this and now, so if it ever happens, you can weigh the evidence, believe what's in the balance. I'll not speak much longer, for the prince is on his way, though he has no hold on me on what I do or say, for what the author writes is what my characters commanded. The prince will have no input once he's crucified and stranded. But it seems I've left the topic of the riddle thus, come to where I've moved to, something other to discuss.